One of the big challenges that you have in a functioning democracy is getting people involved in it. In fact, one of the questions that I would put to you is, my listeners and viewers is, what have you done or how have you done it, or what successes or failures, frankly, have you had in trying to get people involved in politics, interested in politics, participating in politics, whether it's voting or whether it's joining a party or whether it's running for political office? On the line with us right now is Sam Lawrence. He's a 19-year-old college student, a Democrat, and he's running for Ohio State Ohio State Representative in the 47th District of Ohio. This is the real grassroots stuff, right at the bottom of the, arguably. I mean, we could go all the way down to school boards and things, but this is where so much is happening in the United States, and it's getting almost no attention, and it is so cool that we've got young people who are engaging themselves. SamForOhio.com is his website. Sam for Ohio is his Twitter handle. Sam Lawrence, welcome to the program, Sam.
Thank you so much for having me, Thom. I really appreciate it.
It is a pleasure and an honor. Tell us what caused you to A, get into politics in the first place, or get interested in politics in the first place, and B, end up being a candidate for, or a potential candidate. I guess you've got to, have you finished the primary, or do you still have a primary?
I will explain all of that, and I will say that there is a primary that is still happening. I'm unopposed, however.
Okay.
So I'm unopposed on the Democratic side. And thanks for the question. I got involved in politics at a pretty young age, canvassing for local candidates, Toledo, Ohio's mayor, where I was born, and then worked all the way up to a volunteer position on Pete Buttigieg's presidential campaign 2 years ago. I've always been someone who's watched the news and knew what was going on. However, I decided to really take that next step this year. And it is a question I get a lot. Why are you running as someone who at the start of the race was 18? I turned 19 2 weeks ago. Because we need to, frankly. No one else was running in this district in the 47th, and no one else was planning to, which means that come November, my opponent would have just been able to walk into office. We can't let this happen. It's unbelievable how, not just in Ohio, but across the country, how many state legislative seats, county auditor, county commissioner seats, like you said, school board seats are being left open because nobody even has the drive to run for it.
Oh, in a lot of cases, people don't even know that there is a seat that it would be fairly easy for them to either become a candidate for, or in some cases actually win. I mean, you know, those lower races, the school board races and things, where they're literally begging people to run. So, you know, good on you, Sam.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I do want to say, you said some people don't know that there are seats they can run for. Some people don't even know there's a state house. And I say, I'm running for state representative. And they say, what's that?
Yeah, this is the failure of civics in America.
Right. For the people who don't know, we make laws for the state as opposed to for the nation or at a local level. But it would surprise you how many people don't know that, and don't, even if they vote, they don't know that.
Oh yeah, no. In the 1980s, you know, Bill Bennett, when he became the education secretary, essentially took an axe to federal support for civics education in schools. The rationale was we need STEM stuff, you know, and so we got what, 3 generations or 2 generations since then of people who've grown up not understanding how our government works and you know, can't even name 3 branches of government, all that sort of thing. So right. What's the process like? What process did you go through to become a candidate for state representative in Ohio?
First of all, it's so easy. It is so easy to get on the ballot. And people need to realize that. And so look up if there is someone running for your state representative seat or your school board seat. What I did was I got in contact with my county party and got in contact with the leadership, that's Butler County in Southwest Ohio, and basically waited it out. And then at the end of the day, it turned out no one was running. So essentially, I went to the Board of Elections, filed myself as a candidate. They gave you a bunch of lists that you have to get signatures for within the district, and got the signatures. They get verified, and you're on the ballot.
How many signatures did you have to get?
I had to, well, it's weird because I got around 150. You need 50 in Ohio. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of them will get canceled out because they're deemed as not legitimate. But luckily, mine were verified.
That is so very, very cool. And
Thank you.
Do you have any? I'm guessing. I mean, you're going up against a Republican, Sara Carruthers. I'm guessing that she's going to have some money behind her now. These state races, these state representative and state senate races, are places where for decades now, the Koch machine, the Koch brothers and multiple other right-wing groups have actually poured a lot of money into these things.
Yeah, and you're right that Sara has a lot of money behind her, and I do want to get into that a little bit. If you didn't know, Thom, she signs her bills Sara P. Carruthers. That P stands for Proctor, as in Procter & Gamble. She comes from immense wealth, and I've been told that she's willing to put $300,000 of her own money into this race if she needs to.
Whoa. So what's your campaign strategy here, Sam?
Our campaign strategy is that you can't buy elections, which Sara is trying to do. Besides her own money, a news article recently came out that detailed how she had tried to push $300 million worth of legislation through the State House in 2020 in COVID relief funds for nursing homes. Then 2 weeks later, she received $52,000 in campaign contributions from 4 special interests in the nursing home industry. It's insane how many of these Republicans are openly corrupt. And then when you call them out on it, of course, it's the liberal media and the Democrats, the crazy socialists, and
well, the Supreme Court legalized all this stuff, Sam. I mean, that's the challenge we're all facing here in America. Bribery is now legal. It's fully legal. Well, at least in politics. I mean, it's illegal if you go into a hotel and you say to the hotel clerk, "Hey, if I slip you a 50, can you upgrade me to the $1,000 night suite?" Right. You can go to jail for that. But if you slip a 50 to a politician and say, "Hey, why don't you advocate for whatever?" There's nothing. Actually, I mean, you've got to fill out some forms, I suppose, but that's about it.
Yeah. Right. And that's textbook pay to play, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I am very, very committed to running a positive campaign, and that's what I want to do. And I want to go out there and say, here's why I think I'm qualified for this position, and we'll get into that. And here's why I don't believe Sara is, but also here's why Sara hasn't been doing good things for the district. She recently voted yes on both House Bill 99, which passed the Ohio State House, and don't get lost when I say 99. That bill arms teachers, it lowers the training required to arm teachers in our schools.
Whoa.
Then she voted for the Save Women's Sports Act. I bet you can guess what that one does.
It's an anti-trans law.
It's disgusting. And let me read you a few provisions from the bill. It could require an internal exam if any authority brings an athlete's gender into question.
An internal exam?
The bill could require an exam of her internal and external reproductive anatomy, her normal endogenously produced levels of testosterone, and an analysis of her genetic makeup.
Wow.
The Republicans have no respect for our bodies.
I mean, these are the people who for years and years have said, get your government hands off me. And now, oh my God. Yeah, I get it. We're talking with Sam Lawrence. He's a 19-year-old student, a college student, and a Democrat running for the Ohio State Representative 47th District seat. Sam4ohio.com is his website, and Sam4Ohio is his Twitter handle, which is how I found him. And I encourage you to follow him on Twitter. Sam, you wanted to, we're going to hit a break here in a second, but you wanted to lay out, you said in a moment we can talk about my qualifications. Is there more you want to add about what qualifies you to be a state representative in Ohio?
I do, and I think that's important, not just saying, like many Republicans do and like my opponent is doing, this person isn't qualified and leaving it there. I think the key is that young people have different experience, not no experience. On Saturday, I'll be attending the March for Our Lives event in Cincinnati. It's actually happening nationwide, and I encourage you, look up where it is happening because it is probably happening in a city near you. And we are going to turn out in incredible, incredible numbers to show that we're fed up. We're fed up with the gun violence. It's insane. I come from the generation that's had to deal with these school shootings. I've had to watch as people my age and younger than me are gunned down in our schools. And then I have to watch as the Republican politicians, most of whom have never had to deal with this issue, are making laws on it. And frankly, blaming it on mental health. The United States has a mental health problem, but that's not what sets us apart from other countries. It's the guns. Right. And so to answer your question, sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there, but to answer your question, I think what qualifies me is that I have different experience. Frankly, Sara worked as a press assistant for a few years. And as I said, she comes from immense wealth. She's a philanthropist. Her family's given away money in Hamilton for years and years. And for that, I'm grateful. However, that doesn't qualify her to legislate. I've worked on 4 campaigns. I have had multiple internships, as well as the fact that I think bringing a new perspective into the State House is a good thing. I think that if you would say, let's put 99 18-year-olds, that's how many seats there are, let's put 99 18-year-olds in the Ohio State House, you might be a little wary. However, our youngest representative is in the district over from mine. His name is Thomas Hall, and I can tell you that he is not representing young people as he says he is.
Well, I would point out that Sherrod Brown, the senator from your state, and a solid progressive and a person I know personally, first achieved elective office at the age of 22, if I'm remembering correctly.
You are correct, and Sherrod is my favorite senator. I love Sherrod, and I think that goes to show that if you are really motivated and really want to make this positive change, then you can go for anything.
Yeah, and you have done it. SamForOhio.com is the website. Sam Lawrence is the candidate. Sam for Ohio on Twitter as well. Sam, keep it up. Good luck. Oh, and by the way, if on March for Our Lives, folks, if you want to have anybody from that organization reach out to us, we would be glad to give them some publicity for this weekend's gig. If you want to coordinate that with Sean. Sam, great talking to you. Keep up the great work, and I wish you the very best.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And you have my official endorsement.
Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you, Thom.
Have a good one.